Though we have all traveled many uncertain roads, we have always recognized something wasn't right. We searched high and low, yet our paths had never intersected. Our desire to seek truth, then to speak true, has brought us all together. That thing of ours is rooted in truth, because truth is the only unshakable foundation. In the greatest book, it states in John 8:32, "For ye shall know the truth, and the truth shall make you free."
Truth is a powerful force. It is the foundation on which all great achievements are built, and the bedrock of trust and respect in any relationship. When we are rooted in truth, we can be confident that our decisions and actions are grounded in reality rather than in speculation or wishful thinking.
The pursuit of truth is not always easy. It requires courage, perseverance, and a willingness to face uncomfortable facts. But in the end, the truth is always worth it. It allows us to make better decisions, to build stronger relationships, and to create a more just and equitable world.
From politics and world events to entertainment and pop culture, we've got you covered. We'll explore our history and the stories that matter to uncover the truth that lies at the heart of each one. With our fingers on the pulse of the news cycle, we'll provide the insights and analysis you need to stay informed and engaged. As we stay rooted in truth and let the truth guide us in all that we do, let us be willing to listen, to learn, and seek out the facts, even when they challenge our own assumption or belief.
Let us never forget that the pursuit of truth is not just an individual endeavor, but a collective one. Only by working together
With honesty and integrity,
can we build a better future for ourselves
And for generations to come.
This
is
That Thing of Ours.
How's it going, everybody? Thank you for joining us today on this Thursday, 5th of December, 2024. I'd like to thank each and every one of you for joining us on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, X, Rumble, and Pill.net.
And if you haven't already, please take a minute and give us that virtual hug. If you're over on YouTube or Rumble, hit that thumbs up. If you're over on Pill.net, take that red pill. If you're over on X, smash that heart. And if you happen to be on Facebook, you have like 7 buttons to push. And we know you all like to push buttons because you're all just like us.
Yeah, otherwise you wouldn't be hanging around. Yeah, so go ahead and hit those buttons. It truly helps us out, and we truly appreciate it. So thank you very much for all that. Anyway, so let's see what's going on with everybody tonight. See how everybody's doing. Oh, you got things going on. All right, it's going slow in the background tonight.
A little bit.
A little bit.
I'm a little behind. I do apologize that I'm a little slow, but that's okay. Got F. Clint in the house.
Yo, what's up, F. Clint?
Got Chachi in the house.
Hey, Chachi.
Apparently, they're trying to kill Mike with work this week because he's going to be working and lurking again tonight.
Man, Mike's been working away.
I know. Got Skunk in the house.
Hey, Skunk, what's going on?
Got Miss Angie in the house.
Hey, Angie. How you doing?
Got the other Mike in the house.
Oh, hey, Mike. What's going on? Got Mike squared here tonight, huh?
Yeah, Mike squared. One's
Nice.
lurking and working. So,
Yes.
so much going on.
Yeah.
These people are absolutely crazy. Let's just go ahead and get started.
All right, let's dive right in.
Dive right in. Can you read that, please?
Trump needs to tell the GOP senators to stop derailing America's team.
You're echoing.
I'm echoing?
Yeah.
Hello? Echo.
We're gone.
All right.
All right, ready?
We're good now?
Yeah.
All right.
That opened the doors. Now they think, oh, well, let's see who else we can prevent. And they went after Hegseth. And it's a shame. It sucks. Big time. So I'm asking, again, begging President Trump to not sit back and see what happens, to be proactive and aggressive. Make a video saying that Hegseth is your guy and that Republican senators need to get in line. This is the team that you want. And unless they can present an extremely compelling reason why their opinion supersedes the president of the United States about who he can hire to be on his staff, unless they have some bombshell, Joni Ernst pulls out something that shows, no, Pete Hegseth here's proof, definitive proof that he's a communist. He's been meeting with Xi Jinping behind your back. Okay, fine. Show me that evidence. Don't be like, well, as a senator, I'm questioning whether or not, apparently he's been drinking, and apparently he's had some flings with women in the past, and there's a chance that it's like, no, that's not your call, Mr. or Mrs. Senator. Your call is to see, is this person qualified? He obviously is extraordinarily qualified. Is this person ideologically sound? You betcha. I mean, what are they scared of? They're just flexing their muscles. And that should really piss Trump off. Because if he allows this, if they're allowed to subvert Agenda 47, to suppress him, to dictate to the president of the United States of their own party that he's not allowed to have his own staff, they're the ones that are the problem, not Pete Hegseth. You can find my channels, my articles, my social.
Thoughts?
So we know that since they aren't telling Trump whom he should put in all of these positions, they're going to have objections and they're going to be obstructioning, or they will be obstructing, because that's the only thing that they have left to do right now. Lord knows that there's been 2 attempts on President Trump's life already. So, here he is. So they're going to keep playing the game as it is right now. And the best they can do is try to prevent him from putting the people in that they know that are coming after the very people that are trying to obstruct. But then again, I mean, what did we expect? Did we not expect them to go ahead and try to stop President Trump from cleaning house? Of course not. So, yeah, I mean, they still have to play the game. We're going to see them doing this until they end up finding themselves under some kind of an investigation, and they have no way to wiggle out of it anymore, because, well, they used up all their power being ineffective, their entire career.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. You ready?
Yeah.
Can you read that, please?
Stephen Miller lays out what the first 100 days of Trump's golden era will look like.
Ready?
I'd like to see what he has to say.
Well, let me paint a picture for you, Sean, of those first 100 days. Rapid, total, complete deregulation of American energy exploration. You're going to see an American energy boom starting right away. You're going to see all the regulations that are strangling job growth in this country and driving up prices, driving up housing costs, go away. You're going to see the border sealed shut. The criminal aliens are going to be shipped home, and foreign countries around the world are going to accept the gang members and the cartel members that are poisoning our families and murdering American children. You are going to see peace begin to restore to the world as the president works to bring back harmony in the Middle East, harmony in Europe. You're going to see him work with Congress to pass another round of historic tax relief. And you're going to see a government that is accountable to the people again. The swamp will be drained on day one. Incompetent and disloyal people that are hurting this nation are going to be replaced with those who care only for the American people, the American worker, and the American future. That's what's going to happen. It will be a new golden age, Sean.
Thoughts?
Well, we're expecting it to be a golden age. We already know that there was no new wars when President Trump came into office. We're already seeing a lot of these people that are in a state of war right now figuring out that negotiating peace is a good idea all of a sudden. So we're already seeing the Trump effect of him having been elected, and these people that have been playing games that they know that they shouldn't be playing otherwise have all of a sudden gotten really smart and decided that peace is the way. So we're already seeing that positivity. And because these individual nations around the world have kind of bent a knee to President Trump already, that means that all of them in the end are going to recognize that we need to figure things out and be a little bit more peaceful. So we're already seeing the effects of that. We've already seen that the stock market has gone up a little bit. Bitcoin just hit, what was it, 100,000 or something like that? What's up, Rainbow? So we're seeing the positive benefits of President Trump. And that's before he's even in office. So what can we expect to see after he's been inaugurated? Well, we're going to see some games and stuff like that. It's going to take a little while to clean everything up, but just like there's been a hydra kind of against all of us, the swamp creature, President Trump is putting all of these picks of his cabinet picks in place. So that way he's creating his own little, counter hydra, I guess you could say. They won't be able to stop it because there's actually going to be pressure applied that they won't be able to deal with, because everything is kind of set into place. So that way, once he gets there, there's going to be mass layoffs of the federal government, I guess we could say.
Yes.
And that's going to take away a significant amount of power, because they won't have the manpower to be able to do the things they do. And because those people aren't there anymore, and because the government operates under a use it or lose it kind of thing, that means that since those people aren't there, they automatically lose the funds that they had. So it's two things at once. And that's just the Doge platform that President Trump is bringing into play. So I do believe that we're going to see a golden era. I think it's going to take a little bit of time, but I also believe that we're going to have a huge hockey stick, as per Al Gore, that's going to show America's doing great again.
I agree. I agree with you 100%. Are you ready?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you are
All right.
on this one, but
It's not that little weasel kid, is it?
no.
Okay.
But can you read this, please?
Jesse Waters discusses the VA's taxpayer-funded orgy. Oh, yeah, I heard about this shit. Yeah.
Ready?
Sure.
It's not just that they're lazy, they are horny. Veteran Affairs officials in Tennessee just got caught having an orgy on the clock. And not just any orgy, 12 people, butt naked, all over each other at work. We paid for that orgy. This was a taxpayer-funded orgy. Veterans Affairs, literally. Some of the sex was at the VA hospital. So while veterans are getting MRIs, these guys are in the other room going at it. And one of these bureaucrats fessed up to sleeping with 32 of his coworkers. 32. And the guy and a bunch of the 32 women were on company email bragging about it. This is the same VA that put veterans on wait lists to die. And they got bonuses the longer the wait list. So Obama said he cleaned it up, right? Remember, I cleaned up the VA. It's not cleaned up where I come from, Barack. We're $36 trillion in debt, and the government's either working from home or having orgies.
Thoughts?
Surprise. Now we know what they're doing when they're too busy not doing what they should be doing for the veterans. Whatever. Were they at least banging veterans? No, apparently
No.
it was a closed club within employees only kind of thing.
Yes.
Yeah, no, they weren't helping out, the old World War II vet, hadn't seen a human being in 3 years or some shit like that. No, nothing like that. No, it was just employees only kind of thing. And this is another one of those things where we're going to see a whole bunch of people disappear. And maybe there's going to be some outsourcing. I don't know how that's going to work. But they've already didn't they already started that, where President Trump made it so you could go to regular doctors, assuming the regular
yes.
doctors actually accept the insurance and all that other crap.
Correct.
Yeah. So these kinds of things, these are preparations. Get ready to see huge cuts, and nobody's going to feel bad about it.
Right.
I actually didn't look into it whether or not we're talking about the insurance company CEO. We are okay. Yeah, so I'll talk about it then later. Yeah, the orgy bonus. Yeah, I guess. I guess you get a higher bonus based off of the body count. I don't know. Interesting.
I think it's a bunch of bullshit.
Look, this is another one of those mental health things that we really need to have a discussion about. People in their right mind are going to know better than to have this kind of behavior, especially in work where there's cameras all over the freaking place.
Well, not only that, but you're there to help these people that absolutely need help.
Yeah. Well, the people that are there definitely need help, but also the people who are working there apparently definitely need help.
Yeah.
And so this is part of that larger mental health crisis, whether they're Republican or Democrat or, LGBTQ, LMNOP, whatever the hell they may be kind of thing. It's a mental health crisis that we have in this nation. And the military knows this. Sadly, there was a video that we were going to show, but it had gotten taken down, where the military actually knows that the childhood trauma that 99.9% of the people who go in the military have, and they take advantage of that. And so they're taking advantage of these mental health issues without trying to do any healing. And so they're playing this giant game of screw everybody. We're just, we need our high class hitmen that we call the military. And we got a really good advertising campaign to make people think that it's something more than it's really not.
Yeah.
Chachi says, Doge is working so well, folks are outing themselves.
Right.
Yeah, it does seem like that. And it's just going to make it easier for people to say, yeah, we need to let that one go. There's going to be a lot of negative press about everything that's going to get a house cleaning. So whatever you're hearing these kinds of news reports come out of about all these various agencies, I would highly expect to see some large cuts in those organizations really fast. And probably about January 20th at about 4 p.m.
My Wendy's here.
Hey, Wendy, thanks for joining. It's the video, so I have no idea what's being talked about. You'd be surprised what happens at a bank with cameras everywhere.
We're talking about the orgies at the VA.
Yeah, the orgies at the VA. Yeah, it's a thing.
Yeah.
Skunk says, only bad part, you're going to have hundreds of thousands of these losers out of work and coming to work with regular folk. Yes, but the added benefit I say to all of this is that now that the tax dollars won't be taken out of all of the employers, and there will be less oversight, regulation, and prevention of people going out to go make a living without all of the harassment from the government, I think the economy is going to boom, and these people will end up either creating their own businesses, or they will end up being able to find the plethora of jobs that should be available, especially when they're talking about opening up all this energy kind of jobs. That creates a lot of jobs all over the place for people with, no skill or low skills to be able to get into. There's going to be a lot more job openings than there's going to be people who can fill them, the way a healthy economy should be. Wendy says, same thing at the bank, apparently. It's a tradition. And F. Clint says, and if they slack off, you can smack them. Well, yeah, we'll see how that works, but I don't know.
Right.
I still have a feeling that there's going to be touchy-feely. We're not going back to the 1920s or anything. It's not like that.
I wish. But anyway.
No, probably not.
Okay, so I know how much we can love this douchebag that we're about to talk about. So can you read this?
That looks like Cash.
No, I'm not talking about him.
Oh, okay. Lindsey Graham supports Cash Patel for FBI director.
Lindsey Graham's such a douche. Anyway, let's listen.
Controlled opposition. Yeah.
Cash Patel, counterterrorism prosecutor, understands the government. And if the FBI doesn't need to be cleaned out, what does? So, yeah, he'll make it out of committee. I don't know if he'll get any Democrats, but I think he'll get all Republicans. I'm a big fan of his choice to be FBI director.
Thoughts?
I wonder if those people who, Cash Patel, they're a big fan of that choice for FBI director, are the people that would stand to be able to get out from underneath whatever the hell the FBI had on them. You think okay, so you think he's a good guy. I know that there's been some moments out there where it's been highly questionable, but yeah, he could definitely be a good guy. The FBI needs to be cleaned out. I know that Cash is going to get it. There's been a lot of Cash is good. He's gonna get pushed forward. He's gonna get out there, and that'll be one of the first things, one of the first shackles that gets taken off of the American experiment in general, is not having to live under whatever the FBI kind of corruption that's been going on. It's been really bad, and if we can get rid of them, I think that it's going to help out a lot. But it's not going to go away completely. It's just going to be it's going to be changed greatly. Chachi says, imagine how awesome will you look working next to knuckleheads like the VA folks. Yeah, Skunk. Oh, talking about Graham. Yeah, it's a possibility. I mean, they're politicians. Rambo says, Graham is a master of fifth generation warfare. Federal level is all playing a role. I believe that at this point. I believe that they are all playing a role, that they're just, I mean, it looks pretty apparent, especially with the way that some of those who were never Trumpers before are acting now. It just their mere behavior alone says that they're kind of all controlled and being told what to say. But That's what we've been used to for our politicians because they've all been bought and paid for forever and a day.
Exactly. And yes, skunk douche canoe is one of my favorite things to call people when they irritate me. You ready?
Yep.
Let's listen.
Jesus said in John 13:7, "You don't understand now what I'm doing, but someday you will." How many times in your life have you questioned God's activity? How many times have you asked God why, only to later on find out the answers in due time? See, sometimes when we're experiencing discomfort, we demand answers from God. But in the proper season, when the time is right, God will reveal to you why those things happened the way they did. And as you walk boldly in faith and look back over the course of your life, you will see the hand of God, the provision of God, the grace of God, but it takes time. And so whatever you're going through right now, say, God, I might not understand why this is happening to me. I might not understand why I need to go through this, but I'm okay with that. I'm okay with laying that question into your hands, knowing that on this side of eternity, I might not have all the answers. But I'm trusting you, God, knowing that you know better than I. You don't understand now what he is doing, but the promise is one day you will.
Thoughts?
Boy, sometimes it really doesn't feel like we're going to know the why. There's challenges, but I think that that's exactly the reason why we go through these challenges is because it does help us grow. There is no growth in stagnation. So we have to go through these kinds of things. Even when we're growing up, just our physical growing up, and we, have those growing pains. It could be considered the same exact thing. It's about how we respond to it, how we react to it, and are we able to give our faith to God to help guide us and see us through whatever that situation or scenario is. It can be difficult. It's just really. I think that that's one of the biggest lessons that we have. I know it's one of the biggest lessons I have because there's still things that I have difficulty trying to let go of and trying to take it easy and relax through the storms of life. And I don't know who really takes it easy through all of the storms, but I know that that's what we're striving for. I know that's what I'm striving for. And so it's just a matter of being grateful for those difficult seasons in life so that we can get that kind of growth that is part of our life's path.
Yeah. Are you ready?
Mm-hmm.
Can you read that, please?
Este Palti?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Este Palti, the aftermath of Hunter Biden's pardon, the Kamala edition.
Ready?
Oh, her. Yeah, gotcha. Yes.
Hey, Guadalupe. ¿Cómo estás? Look, please pay attention. This is important. I know you don't really clean my room anymore since I lost the election and I can't pay you, but you've been cleaning everyone else's room. Have you seen, a little bag with some, Blanco substance inside? No, not that. That's Joe's Metamucil. Okay, Guadalupe, I'll check Hunter's room. Yeah, no, I'm too hungover for your shit. Thank you. Rise and shine, Mother of the Year. Yeah, where's your son? I don't give a shit, Jill. Where's your son? I need something that Hunter took from me. 10 minutes after he got pardoned. 10 minutes, and already my stuff is gone. This is unbelievable. Look, Jill, I don't want to do this with you today, all right? I'm pretty unburdened last night. Now, the bag said Bolivia on it. I know it was Hunter. Just tell me where he is. Joe? Joe, wake up. Come on, wake up. You're fine. How else am I supposed to get your attention? Look, well, we just got word that we can't even locate Air Force One, much less Hunter. Are you happy now, you decomposing Nimrod? Are you proud of yourself? That was my last kilo, Joe.
Thoughts?
I could see something like that happening. everybody's stuff. I mean, it's everybody for themselves now. I can't imagine that there would be any kind of a love between Kamala and the Bidens at this point
Oh,
in time.
no. 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 That's funny. Anyway, are you
pretty
ready?
ugly. Yep.
Can you read that, please?
Beijing Biden's real reason for pushing electric vehicles so much.
Let's listen.
All right.
Ever wonder why Sleepy Joe was pushing for electric vehicles super hard over the last few years with seemingly no cause? And I guess he was doing it in the name of climate change, but I'm about to squash that really quickly. This is BHR Partners. They're an equity investment fund management company based out of Shanghai, China. They are controlled by the Bank of China Limited, and they have a partnership with none other than Hunter Biden. They deal with mergers, acquisitions, investment, and reforms of state-owned enterprise. As of 2017, their assets under management was about 12 billion yen. Not too shabby. And here are their founders up here. Oh, wait a second. Devin Archer, we know that name. How do we know that name? And here is where it all comes together. Hunter Biden helped facilitate the purchase of one of the world's richest cobalt mines for $3.8 billion in the Congo through this Chinese company. The competition between China and the U.S. in securing cobalt, a raw material used in electric vehicles. No way. You're telling me that he was using his presidential political influence to get you and I to buy electric vehicles to get his family filthy, stinking rich, and it had nothing to do with climate change at all? What? No. Let's take a look at some of these articles, shall we? The New York Times, the Washington Examiner, the New York Post.
Thoughts?
This is what's been talked about for years and years now, that the corruption is deep and that the Bidens have been doing this out in the open. The press has been hiding it. And now all of a sudden they're having to tell a little bit of the truth, but they're not trying to hide anything anymore because Hunter got his pardon from daddy.
Yep.
So yeah, we'll start to get a little bit more confirmation, and really that confirmation, what we're actually seeing with these news articles coming out and confirming this stuff is that really they knew this all along and that they were hiding it from us. These are the kinds of things people are going to be really pissed off about, and that it's going to be difficult to keep people calm as long as they continue to poke us in the eye every chance they get by showing us that they've been liars who lie all the freaking time.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Are you ready?
Yes, ma'am.
Can you read that, please?
And Justice Sotomayor thinks cutting children's body parts off has the same risks as taking aspirin.
Ready?
Yeah.
Cannot eliminate the risk of detransitioners. So it becomes a pure exercise of weighing benefits versus risk. And the question of how many minors have to have their bodies irreparably harmed for unproven benefits is one that is best left.
I'm sorry, counselor. Every medical treatment has a risk, even taking aspirin. There is always going to be a percentage of the population under any medical treatment that's going to suffer a harm. So the question in my mind is not, do policymakers decide whether one person's life is more valuable than the millions of others who get relief from this treatment? The question is, can you stop one sex from the other?
Thoughts?
It doesn't. What she says doesn't even make sense.
I know.
Maybe it makes sense to everybody over there on the other side, and some of it had some sense to it, but it was mixed in with nonsensical shit.
I know.
Like an aspirin? This isn't taking a freaking aspirin to get rid of a headache. This is talking about removing body parts. Of course, there's some risk in every medical everything, but that's a straw man argument. That's trying to make it to absolutely minimize the permanent effects of a sex change. So what I'm hearing there is that we have a Supreme Court justice who doesn't understand simple logical arguments when she's making a straw man argument herself. These are the things that our supreme justices should be able to understand on a natural level that they should be educating us and that we shouldn't be listening to their nonsensical arguments that don't even correlate to each other. This is a terrible, terrible, pitiful time that we live in, that this is a Supreme Court justice and doesn't understand what a straw man argument is.
I know. It's ridiculous.
Wow.
Are you ready?
Yeah.
Can you read that, please?
Alan Dershowitz has a theory about the assassination of United Healthcare CEO.
This is the video I was saying that I have something on the CEO. So
Okay.
Here you go.
All right.
I have a theory about why this CEO was killed. Remember, there's information that there was an investigation about insider trading. And if he was being investigated, there were people out there who would be afraid he would flip and turn against them. And so I think they have to investigate the possibility that somebody who he might have testified against had him killed to prevent him from being from testifying. Also, whoever killed him knew where he was going, knew he was going at 6:40 in the morning, knew it was well before the events began. So I think the investigation has to look inward to the company to see who was under investigation and who this guy might have flipped again.
Thoughts?
All right. So interesting things about all of this. Yes, I firmly believe that it was a hit and it was done exactly the way it was done intentionally, especially since they're finding some rounds on the ground, the spent casings,
Yeah.
and then they had things written on them that didn't make a whole bunch of sense unless you say that it was somebody that he have may have been flipping against, because God, I wish I could remember the names right now off the top of my head, but this does not look like it's some disgruntled person who got, pissed off about something bad that happened to them with the insurance company. This is starting to have more of the hallmarks of a paid hit because of exactly what Dershowitz was talking about, which is that people are afraid that he was going to flip. Oh, geez, I wish I would have had this thing up. What were the 3 words written on the casings?
I don't remember.
And it was the last word, and you look up the definition of it and it talks about removing depose. So deposition in a court case, also to depose, you could depose a king, in other words, remove them from their lofty throne.
Yes.
So and it was that last word, depose, that is not similar with, I guess, a word that's repeated in some kind of article that was talking about how the insurance companies delay and basically create misery for the people that are paying them to have all these bonuses. And the sad fact of this is that there's absolutely zero sympathy being shown for this individual and his family. The man should not be dead. He shouldn't, not by any stretch of the imagination. But what should happen is that this exposure should happen. And of course, people don't want this exposure to happen. And that would explain why he might not be on this plane of existence anymore. It's the insurance industry sadly makes money off of people's miserable times. And on top of making that money during miserable times, they're not actually providing the assistance that they imply and tell everybody that they're there for, especially when it's something that we're required to have. And so the people are likely going to be upset. But the commentary, the comments that I'm seeing in relation to how people feel about this man's not being alive anymore are pretty detestable. But I will say that it's part of the general consensus about how your average American feels. And so because so many people dislike that industry, it's just like what I was saying, the similarity with what we're going to see when Doge comes in and starts, basically taking away all these jobs from the federal government. People already don't like it, so they're not going to feel bad for them. Their hearts will be closed, and it'll be like, well, you know what? You got to live like the rest of us now. And that's how people are going to feel. And they're probably not going to get jobs very easy. It may be a difficult time, but that's not going to heal anything. We got a long road ahead of us. It's going to be interesting to see how this plays out and how Americans are going to open their heart to fixing the problems as opposed to making sure that we get one back on the people who have been screwing us over this whole time. Skunk says, I used to work in insurance collections, and these people are the biggest crooks that exist. Yeah, I know, because they're paid good to be that way. Sadly.
I know.
Yeah.
You be careful, Wendy.
Be careful, Wendy. We'll see you later.
And I hear they have them on sale at Walmart. Just kidding.
Personalities.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Are you ready?
Yeah.
Can you read that, please?
Sheriff Mark Lamb says cartels are moving fentanyl differently with Trump coming.
Ready?
Mm-hmm.
Have you heard about these changes? I asked Mark Lamb, sheriff of Pinal County, Arizona, whether there's any difference in the fentanyl flow across the border since November 5th. Here's what he had to say. The fentanyl still flowing across the border, Mark?
It is flowing across the border. And we just had a meeting with our guy that runs our anti-smuggling unit. And he was telling us that they're getting used to Trump coming in. And what that means is they're going to start pushing it through the way they used to push it through under the Trump administration. They pushed it through the Indian reservation and through the desert areas. We're already starting to see, we're getting intel that they have scouts in the mountains again, that they're starting to push these groups through, that they're carrying backpacks, which probably contain your hard drugs like fentanyl, methamphetamines, cocaine, that type of stuff. So we are already seeing that shift. We're seeing that push to get people in before the Trump administration takes over. But these are routes they've had since the Pancho Villa times, Joe.
Right.
And what they're doing is they're just reactivating routes that they didn't need under the Biden administration because they can just cross over the border and then just come in and nobody stopped them. Now
Amazing.
They've got to go back to trying to sneak people in, do it the old way that they've been doing it. And we're already seeing that change with the cartels.
So yes, there have been some changes. It's harder now for the cartels to bring the bad stuff across the border. We'll see how many major changes happen on January 20th. Make sure you like, make sure you comment, make sure you share. And why aren't you following? Come on.
Thoughts?
So this is going to be a little bit interesting. So as the sheriff said there, they're using the same old routes that they used to use. And President Trump has stated that he's going to start treating them like he's going to send the SEALs and Delta after the cartels, correct? And so just regular military kind of strategy and tactics, you want to kind of switch things up. But the thing is I don't think that they have the ability to switch things up quite the way they would like to, because they're used to doing things the way they were. You know, yes, they had President Trump before, but President Trump wasn't able to completely take the gloves off of the Border Patrol. Now the Border Patrol is going to have their gloves taken off. They're not going to be able to send people everywhere. So they're going to be trying to set stuff up. Not a surprise. We should expect that they are going to respond to the fact that Trump is going to take over office. On top of that, what we can expect to see is that things are going to shift, and then the military, when it comes in, it's going to be using all of the stuff that it's not using, fighting bullshit wars on the other side of the planet. We're going to have all these fancy toys that we have nothing to do with. And I have a feeling those fancy toys are going to end up getting used for, I don't know, maybe securing the southern border. And it's not going to be easy for those who have had such a long period of time making such large amounts of money off of the death and destruction of the people of this nation. It's going to change.
I agree. How about some Kelly?
All right.
Let's listen.
Let's listen.
And he's got his hat on, so.
Yes, he does. Yeah, it's not so different.
I know.
It threw me off.
I know. When he doesn't have a hat on, it's weird. All right, let's listen.
Let's listen.
All right, friends, I was doing my Bible study this morning, and I got to show you something that will blow your mind. If you let it, this will change your life today. All right, check this out. All right, we all know Matthew 7:13 really well. This is talking about the narrow gate. You can enter God's kingdom only through the narrow gate. The highway to hell is broad, and its gate is wide for many who choose that way. But the gateway to life is very narrow, and the road is difficult. Only a few will ever find it. Now, you tell me, weren't you always taught that this verse is talking about going to heaven? That narrow is the road to heaven. Not very many people are going to make it there, but so many are going to make it on the road to hell. Isn't that what you and I were taught? I know I was. I've got a problem with this. You see, it said you can enter God's kingdom only through the narrow gate. It did not say heaven, right? Well, oh, hang on, Kelly. But then it said the highway to hell. Look at this. Look at this. When we look at verse 13, it says the highway to hell, but then the hell has that little asterisk, right? So let's come down here. And what does it say? In Greek, it means the road that leads to destruction. What does that sound like? Proverbs 14:12, which says there's a path before each person that seems right, but it ends in death. Oh, son, but then it gets even better, because go read Proverbs 14:12 out of the Message. This is what it says. There's a way of life that looks harmless enough. Look again. It leads straight to hell. Sure, those people appear to be having a good time, but all that laughter will end in heartbreak. You see what this is telling you? It's telling you the exact same thing. Listen, there's a way that you can live life on earth that seeks his kingdom, to bring his kingdom to earth. Listen, we should be Matthew 6:33. Let's go. Look, right before we get to the narrow gate, in Matthew 6:33, it says, seek the kingdom of God above all else and live righteously, and he will give you everything you need. Most of Matthew 6 is talking about all the things that you and I worry about on this earth. We're worried about money. We're worried about food, clothes, our kids, our spouse, our jobs. We're worried about everything. But what Matthew 6 is telling us, Jesus himself is telling us, hey, if you will seek my kingdom. He didn't say salvation. Look, don't seek to get saved. Getting saved is not the finish line, it's the starting line, all right? He said seek the kingdom. What that means is everywhere you go, you're taking the Holy Spirit with you, right? That means everywhere you go, you should expect miracles to happen. You should expect people to get saved. You should expect people to get delivered. He's saying if you will spend all your time seeking his kingdom and using his righteousness, meaning understand that I'm in right standing with God because of what you did, Jesus. I'm not trying to earn my way into right standing all day. So what I get to do all day is seek your kingdom. Seek the kingdom. He's saying, if you will do that, I will provide everything for you. All those things that you're worried about. See, then we get over here to verse 7:13, where he says, narrow is the gate that leads to people who are seeking the kingdom. Listen, that's hard. It's hard to seek the kingdom all day, to not worry about yourself, to put all your faith, all your trust, all your hope in God. That's what he's saying. Only a few people are ever going to do that. There's going to be so many more that trust in themselves, trust in other people. Listen, getting saved, getting into heaven, what's easier than that? Nothing. All you have to do is believe in Jesus. Give him your heart, confess with your mouth, repent of your sins. Getting into heaven is the easiest thing in the world to do. You know what's difficult, though? Bringing the kingdom to earth. Bringing the kingdom to earth. But if you will know that that's what you're supposed to be looking for, if you know that it's possible, you can do it. So let me encourage you today. Seek his kingdom. You don't have to fight for right standing with God. You have it right now. If you got a relationship with Jesus, that belongs to you. Amen. Look, narrow is the road that leads to life on this earth. I'm talking an abundant life. You don't have to wait to get to heaven to have an amazing life. You can have it right here, right now on earth today. You just got to seek it. You know what I'm saying? Think about that for a minute.
Thoughts?
Kelly's awesome. I always love listening to Kelly. Seeking the kingdom. And I think that's the clarification that he made there for me makes a huge difference in my mind, because yes, I do try to walk the path and everything. I understand that I'm already saved, but what I'm seeking is the kingdom. And so kind of one of the ways I guess I'm interpreting that is like, if I see trash on the ground, I'm going to pick it up and throw it in a garbage can, because I would rather live in a clean city that doesn't have trash everywhere. Now, does that mean that I live in a clean city right now? No, I don't. There's sadly, the winds are awful and people don't have respect for the place that they live. And so we got trash everywhere. And, it is what it is. So when I see trash, I'm going to throw it away because it's something that I can do. So I'm going to try to be in that city that's clean and doesn't have trash floating around all over the place, because it requires each and every one of us to do our part. And so if we're seeking the kingdom, I kind of feel like that's the same thing. Yes, I know that I can't, the law has already been fulfilled. Only one person was able to fulfill and do all of the 613 mitzvot and all of the other, fulfill all of the prophecies about who the Messiah was. So not trying to be the Messiah, but I'm trying to live as though I'm in the kingdom. And so I am seeking the kingdom. And I think that's how I'm selling it to myself. Hey, how you doing, Everett at home? Everett home?
Welcome.
Thank you for joining.
Yes. You ready?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Can you read that, please?
John Fetterman is the only Democrat on Capitol Hill with a sense of humor.
Ready?
Wait, what? Who is this dude?
Just listen.
Whatever.
I'm considering voting yes on DeSantis if he finally admits that he has lifts in his boots. I'm sure he does. I think maybe 3 inches, 4 inches at least. Yeah.
He's
Thoughts?
It's that he has lifts in his boots. Didn't Trump used to give him a hard time about having lifts?
Mm-hmm.
Huh. Wow, that's interesting, isn't it?
Yeah.
I'm sure that that's not some kind of, central casting kind of, little shot that's going to be that repeated thing over and over again. I know that Trump didn't like Ron's de sanctimonious
Yeah.
for quite some time, and now all of a sudden he's appointing him to various places.
I don't think so. I think he's going to keep Pete, but they got to keep the Democrats guessing.
Yeah, they got to keep the Democrats guessing, but it's interesting that the slights and jabs are still happening, even though it's not coming directly from Trump's mouth. Kind of has a feeling like it's just indirectly from President Trump.
Yeah, exactly.
That's hilarious.
Are you ready?
Yeah.
Can you read that, please?
Joy Reid is the ultimate legacy media hypocrite.
You ready?
Yeah.
The presidential pardon was originally meant to grant the president the power to temper justice with mercy. It was not enshrined in our Constitution so that a dishonorable man could reward his criminal allies, friends, and family for their corrupt practices. I don't have a problem with Biden pardoning his son. He should have pardoned him. The crazies are coming, right? But to me, it's like, pardon more.
Thoughts?
The crazies are coming. That is such an insulting little ugly heifer. Oh my God. Just talk shit. The crazies are coming. Yeah, who's the crazy ones? Y'all have been running it. Looks like y'all are the crazy ones as far as the normal people are concerned. But you go right ahead with your delusion, and that's why we need to make America healthy again, because damn, we got a mental health problem in this country, and we put them on TV for everybody to see. Whew. Mike says, question, if 2020 is proven to be stolen, does Joe Biden's pardons go away? That's an interesting question, because fraud vitiates everything, which would mean that he never could have given anybody a pardon because he was never supposed to be president. That would be an interesting case. Yeah, that would be interesting. I know that this is going to play out some way, somehow. And we said that Hunter's turning state's evidence on here a long time ago. And so I believe that there's going to be something that makes them end up singing like a canary.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You ready?
Yeah, great point, Mike.
Ready?
Mm-hmm.
Can you read that, please?
Yes. Acting Secret Service Director Ronald Rowe and GOP Representative Pat Fallon go at it over 9/11.
Ready?
Yeah.
Special agent in charge of the detail. Were you the special agent in charge of the detail that day? Actually, let me address this. Could you please, staff, leave that? Oh, no, leave that one up with the circle around me. Thank you. So actually, Congressman, what you're not seeing is the sack of the detail out of the picture's view. And that is the day where we remember the more than 3,000 people that have died on 9/11. I actually responded to Ground Zero. I was there going through the ashes of the World Trade Center. I was there at Fresh Kills. I'm not asking you that. I'm asking you, Congressman. Were you the special agent in charge? To show respect for a Secret Service member that died on 9/11. Oh, that you're trying to be. Do not invoke 9/11 for political purposes. Oh, I'm not. I'm invoking this. You are, sir. Gentlemen, you are out of line. I would like to ask him a question, please. You are out of line, Congressman. Don't try to bully me. I'm an elected member of Congress, and I'm asking you a serious question, and you are playing politics. I am a public servant who has served this nation, and you won't answer the question. On our day, on our country's darkest day. Committee will come to order. Committee will come to order. I'm asking you serious questions for the American people, and they're very simple. They're not trick questions. Were you the special agent in charge that day? No, I wasn't. I was there representing the United States Secret Service, sir. Mr. Fallon, your time's expired. Did not affect protective operations. No, you were there because you wanted to be visible because you were auditioning for this job. I was there to pay respect for a fallen member of this agency. You endangered President Biden's life, Congressman. Vice President Harris's life, because you put those agents out of position.
Mr.
Did you have a
Chairman.
radio with
Mr.
you?
Fallon,
Did you
your
wear a
time
vest?
has
Did you have a
expired.
weapon?
Mr.
No, I
Chairman.
did, sir, and you are out of line.
Mr. Chairman, Mr. Chairman, Mr. Chairman,
Yes, sir.
please.
All right. And we are back
You're
in
a
order
bully.
now. We are back in order now.
Thank you.
Mr. Moskowitz, you are now recognized for 5 minutes. Okay.
Okay.
Thoughts?
Ooh. All I know is that didn't work out very well at all. That sounded like that scene out of A Few Good Men. You know, son, whatever. Anyway, I'm not going to try it. But regardless, yeah, F. Clen says that should have ended in fisticuffs. We're not that far away from getting to that anymore. And to tell you the truth, it was aggravating to listen to because Secret Service dude was being truly disrespectful. And I think that he was trying to imply, and he was that there were some things that weren't being said because I think that he needed an out. And I think that he was trying to create a drama to take up the rest of the time because in the end it's all political theater as far as these clowns are concerned. So that theater, as you could tell, they didn't stop anything. They didn't stop the time, and there was a complete loss of control by the whoever chairman. Thank you. So that was some pretty good theater there. But I have a feeling that the Secret Service guy right now that's there now, the director dude, I don't think that acting director. I have a feeling he's not going to be acting in that position much longer. And like he was saying, come January 20th, you won't be in that position anymore. But I think that we have to have a lot more of the truth come out first before, we start to see people like that get taken out of the game. Bill says, Fallon is from my area. All right. Chachi says, wasn't this guy going to throw down with somebody once before? Possibly. Thank you, Bill. Apparently I nailed something.
Are you ready?
Yeah.
I got Craig. Let's listen.
Oh, yeah. Oh, there we go. Yeah, Craig's awesome.
Advent is all about anticipating the birth, the first coming of Jesus. But what many people don't understand is Advent is also about anticipating the return of Jesus. Because scripture teaches us, and Jesus even told us that one day he would come back for us. He said, hey, don't let your hearts be troubled. Don't worry. I'm going away, but I'm going away to prepare a place for you. But I will come back again. And here's some really, really good news. When Jesus comes back, this time he doesn't come back as a baby in a manger, but he comes back as a king on a horse. And when he comes back, tattooed on his thigh would be the name King of all kings and Lord of all lords. And he comes back to make justice and to do what's right. And he will come back and rule and reign forever. Hope is coming again. You can always have hope. Why? Because hope has a name. We don't just hope in a what, but we hope in a who, and his name is Jesus, which means God saves, he is a savior. And hope has perfect timing. It may not be your time, it rarely is. But God's timing is always perfect.
Thoughts?
The arrival of something, the arrival of a notable, oh my God, words. The arrival of a notable person, thing, or event. And that's what we're expecting. We are expecting the arrival of the most notable arrival that we could ever expect. And these are the things that we celebrate. We love our Creator. And this is the time that we can truly celebrate that. And the people on the left get the least amount of butthurt. It's like our given little window that we can love God out in public, right? I know that this is going to be changing as we move forward because of all of the trials and tribulations people have been going through, and more people are talking about God. So I am fully expecting the arrival that is going to wash all of our hearts as we continue down this path that looks like it's the most beautiful path because we are turning to God and we are awaiting the arrival of him.
Are you ready?
Yes.
Can you read that, please?
Barron Trump's adult voice heard for the first time.
You ready?
Yes.
Yes. Hello, how are you? I'm in the business. It's very nice to see you. Very nice. I gave him a shout out last night. The place went crazy. He didn't Hello, how are you? Very nice. Good to see you. You too, buddy. Oh, you've never met? No. Could we make him into a player?
Thoughts?
He sounds like a young Don.
Yeah, he does.
Like a very, very young Don. But then again, he's a very, very young Baron. So, but it makes sense. I mean, we carry on our voice characteristics of our parents. And surprise, surprise, he sounds like his daddy.
Yeah, I know. You sound like your dad. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Can you read that, please?
Breaking. Tsunami sirens and warnings are going off for the West Coast after a powerful 7.3 earthquake.
Yep. Can you read this up here?
Where? Oh, okay. Emergency alert. The National Weather Service has issued a tsunami warning. A series of powerful waves and strong currents may impact coasts near you. You are in danger. Get away from coastal waters. Move to high ground or inland now. Keep away from the coast until local officials say it is safe to return.
You ready?
Mm-hmm.
Have the possibility of generating some waves. So again, this is the largest earthquake we are tracking, but it's not the only earthquake we are tracking. When you have a large earthquake, it can typically strike and create other earthquakes. So we had another one. This one was more on land in Humboldt County. This was a magnitude 6.0, right around the same time that magnitude 7.0 occurred. And then locally here, we had another earthquake, this one occurring in Southern Lake County. This happened at 10:47 this morning. I mean, a magnitude 5.8, you would certainly feel that in the North Bay. And again, we talk about the depth of some of these quakes. When they get to a depth of just a mile, that is a very shallow earthquake. And that means it can be felt over a larger area. So that's something we're watching. We have several of these earthquakes. When we talk about the magnitudes of earthquakes, when you start getting into the 6s and the 7s on the magnitude scale, that is a strong to major earthquake. When we get to the magnitude 7.0, like we saw off our coastline, those are pretty rare. We do not see a lot of these around the globe. Globally, only about 18 of these per year. So that can cause some damage. Where we have that 6.0 that was more on land in Humboldt County, that can cause some property damage. It's something, of course, we'll look at very closely. But even that one that occurred in the North Bay, that 5.8, can still cause some property damage. So again, this area where we had the magnitude 7.0, the magnitude 6.0, it is a very well-documented area. It's called a triple junction. That's where a lot of our tectonic plates are coming together in one area. This is also an area that if we have a strong enough earthquake, like we have documented right now from the USGS, that magnitude 7.0 that occurred at about 10:44 this morning, that does have the possibility to generate some waves. Now, we do have a lot of buoys out here. The USGS is going to look at those buoys, see if there is a rise in our sea level and see if there are waves coming our way. But like Kristen and Julian mentioned, the first chance of seeing some waves here locally, probably closer to noon, shortly thereafter, because the epicenter, again, guys, about 225 miles from the city of San Francisco. But I know a lot of folks felt the shaking. I'm going to try and see if I can update the shake map, see how far and how wide that shaking was felt. But it's uncommon for us to feel this big of an earthquake here in Northern California. Magnitude 7.0 can really cause some issues. And that's why your phone went off. That's why the tsunami warning went off on your phone.
Oh, geez.
Thoughts?
So, so I looked it up. Apparently, the tsunami warnings have been lifted as of a little while ago. This is one of those things. I guess it was a slow news day, and they needed something to try to distract for whatever's going on out there. But I know that this is one of those things going to get people motivated about the emergency broadcast system. A lot of people are still waiting on the emergency broadcast system. And I'm not saying it's not going to happen, but what I'm saying is it's probably not going to happen until we either get real close to inauguration day or a little bit after, when people need to start being arrested and stuff like that. But it's way too early for that kind of EBS warning that people are looking for. But we can fully expect that earthquakes will be a thing in California just
Yeah.
like tornadoes in the Midwest.
Yeah, and I agree with Aaron and Angie.
Mm-hmm.
That sounded like a weather girl.
Sound like the weather girl? I mean, it's San Fran.
Yeah.
Hey, they know who their audience is. Go for it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You ready? I got Preston.
All right.
Let's
Preston's
listen.
awesome.
So the lame duck sessions of Congress here on Capitol Hill is always very interesting, in large part because there is typically a pending transition of power. You have Democrats losing power, Republicans gaining power, and vice versa. This session is in particular very interesting because you have Republicans who have gained control of all three branches of the government, and of course, we maintain the majority in the Supreme Court. Democrats are pissed. But what I've never seen are Democrats literally collapse on themselves as they have been over the last several weeks, nor have I ever seen the Democrats show the American people who they truly are, as I did today when the Democratic House of Representatives Ways and Means Committee came after the American people. In a now deleted post on X, the official account for the Ways and Means Committee, which represents all Democrats on that committee, responded to a news article today that stated that Americans had spent over $10 billion in online sales over Black Friday weekend. The Democrats on that committee responded back stating, quote, "And here we thought y'all, all of you Americans, couldn't afford eggs." What that is that is the Democratic Party telling you that you don't deserve to indulge at all over Black Friday. That's the Democrats telling you that if you don't deserve to even question where your tax dollars are going, nor do you deserve to question why you are paying the price you're paying for groceries or to support your family. That is the true Democratic Party. And here, I'll give you a preview of it. You can see it for yourself.
All right. And here we were thinking y'all couldn't afford eggs. Let's see. That's the Ways and Means Democrats. West Wing Report said record. Yeah, record air travel, holiday shopping busting records, stock market at all-time highs. The economy is the worst ever. Some Pollyanna's whine. Shoppers spent record $10.8 billion online on Black Friday. Up next, Cyber Monday.
It's incredibly important to note that this same Ways and Means Committee is the same committee that controls the bills for your taxes, your Medicare, your Social Security, and any type of SNAP or family benefits you may get. Yeah, that's the same committee who's mocking you for complaining about the cost of groceries. That's the same committee who voted in favor of sending billions of your money to foreign countries. That's the same committee that just allowed Joe Biden to send $725 million of your dollars to Ukraine yesterday. And on top of that, send $1 billion of your dollars to Africa. That is also the exact same committee who goes home to their mansions every single night and simply lives off of the interest and dividends they make from their trade deals, while you, the everyday American, struggle to pay your own bills. Any individual who can sit there and mock the American people who have been struggling for the last 4 years because of those same Democrats' actions is absolutely anti-American and does not belong here on Capitol Hill. The Republicans within the Ways and Means Committee asked them to recant that statement. The Democrats simply refused to do so. They deleted the post on X as if it never happened and continued on. So that is why, of course, I have all of their contact information linked to my bio. I implore you to always make your voice heard. But in this case, reach out to the members on that committee and let them know just how you feel. Let them know that they are spending your money. They are hired by you, and you do have a voice, and you have every right to complain about what they're doing with your money. Demand they make a public statement recanting that or apologizing to the American people. While you're at it, go ahead and remind them that there's thousands of North Carolinians who are freezing to death, lying on the ground, because they refuse to do anything about it. Much love. God bless. Change is coming. We are only 47 days away from electing President Trump as the 47th president of the United States.
Thoughts?
In a different time, aren't we? It used to be once upon a time that the politicians would go out there and be out there until everything was taken care of, especially if it was their own state. See, they understood that they had a responsibility to the people that they're there to represent, that you choose not to truly represent because they're too busy taking all the money for themselves. And I distrust anybody who wants to be a part of the House Ways and Means Committee, because if they want to be there, that means they want to be where all the money is. And that's an awfully big purse where people can just, make money disappear all the time. So the karma is coming for them at some point in time in the near future. And maybe they'll understand what real leadership is. But more than anything else, I wish America would understand what real leadership is to deal with these kinds of terrible scenarios. I know that if any of y'all or us had the opportunity, if we had the finances, if we had the opportunity to represent the people of these United States, or just had the financial ability to go out there and go be a part of the recovery and making sure that people had a place to live and not freeze to death because they were part of some, natural disaster, an act of God. That's what we as Americans used to do. We used to care about people, and it looks like we don't care about anything. It looks like we care about just sitting back and watching. And I know that's not what we're doing, but it sure is a bad look for our country right now. And it's been a bad look for so long. And that's why our hopes are kind of pinned to President Trump. But the good news is that we see that he's making appointments that are certainly pissing the people off who've been living the fattened hog life, and they're scrambling and they're worried. And that's what gives us the patience and the confidence to wait and see how President Trump is going to be dealing with this. It is difficult in these times as people are starving to death and freezing to death that shouldn't have to be having these problems, as they're giving out free furnished apartments to illegal aliens in Portland, Maine.
Yeah.
That other people have to pay $2,000 a month for.
Exactly.
Furnished apartments for illegals paid for by you and me. Yeah, we're pissed. We're real pissed. Just need to start seeing some changes soon. Bill says, when rats leave a sinking ship, do they swim or surf? Usually they wait for the flotsam to be floating around so they got something to hang out on.
Right.
Steph says the same people that shop on Black Friday and Cyber Monday probably put it on their credit cards that they know they can't pay because of them in the first place, and they're going to stick it to the man. That's how a lot of people are doing these things. You know what? I'll just declare bankruptcy. These people are multimillionaires. They're making all the money. We don't get to even, we can't even afford to buy a dozen eggs. And you people at, all of these banks and credit reporting agencies and insurance companies, this is the America y'all made. Does it make y'all nervous? Because we've been nervous forever and a day, because we have just been merely trying to keep a roof over our head. We've just merely been trying to keep food on the table for our kids, keep shoes on their feet as they're growing. And we have to buy all of this cheap Chinese slave labor made shit that you send over here and charge us hundreds of dollars for. And meanwhile, you're not protecting the jobs, so that way we can afford to pay an American to make some damn shoes.
Exactly.
Is there some mystery sauce that they have over there in China that they can make Nikes better than we can? Is that how it works? What is it? Is it something in the food? What's the difference? Oh, y'all are greedy assholes.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Exactly.
It's going to change.
Mm-hmm. It is. And it's coming.
It's coming.
And it's going to be biblical.
Nothing can stop what's coming.
Exactly. You ready?
Yes, ma'am.
Let's listen.
If Republicans are so good at the economy, why are Republican states so poor?
I have so much to say about this because I've debunked this argument on live a million different times. Okay, so first of all, the amount of money that's required to be considered poor or rich or comfortable is extremely dependent upon where you are nationally. Like if you make 60 grand a year, you're doing pretty good in Alabama and Arkansas. But if you make that same amount of money in California and New York City, you're fucked. And that's not a knock against Alabama or Arkansas. Cost of living there is lower. Now, I would show you the breakdown of this on green screen, but apparently TikTok took that option away. I don't know if it's just me, but I don't have access to green screen anymore. So you're going to have to write down these numbers if you want to fact check me. But for example, the average annual wage in Alabama is $53,400. And the average monthly rent there is $1,064, which makes rent 23% of the annual income. For Arkansas, it's 24%. For Mississippi, it's 22%. For all those countries
Ah,
Hey, Agent Smith, what's
hey,
up?
Agent Smith, what's going on? I'm sure that your job won't be one of the ones that Doge gets.
Right.
If Republicans are so good at the economy, why
Oh,
are
God.
Republican states so
Oh, that's painful. Listen to him again.
Alabama or Arkansas, cost of living there is lower. Now, I would show you the breakdown of this on green screen, but apparently TikTok took that option away. I don't know if it's just me, but I don't have access to green screen anymore. So you're going to have to write down these numbers if you want to fact check me. But for example, the average annual wage in Alabama is $53,400, and the average monthly rent there is $1,064, which makes rent 23% of the annual income. For Arkansas, it's 24%. For Mississippi, it's 22%. For all those country states that you guys like to pretend are poor, the average is somewhere between 21 and 25% of your annual income. However, when we look at a state like California, where the average annual income is $76,960, so much more than those poor southern states, their average rent is also almost $2,000, making the average rent in California more than 31% of your income. Not to mention, the value of the dollar isn't the same everywhere. Anybody who's gone on vacation knows that. For example, here in Florida, $100 is worth about $97.90, which makes sense. We're a beach destination. We're a place a lot of people come on vacation. Your money doesn't go as far here. In California, $100 is worth about $87.50. But in Alabama, $100 is worth about $112. And in Arkansas, it's worth about $113. Meaning that in California, you're very likely to have more dollars in your pocket, but you don't have more purchasing power. Because you live in California, you're paid in California, you're probably shopping in California. You're probably buying your food and your daily goods in California. Just like the people of Alabama work in Alabama, are paid in Alabama, and shop in Alabama. And their money goes a lot further than yours. And just to be clear, if you feel like this concept is eluding you, and in your head you're just like, well, I have more money, so I have a better life, please take that as a sign that you aren't smart enough to understand this and stay out the comments.
Thoughts?
Isn't that interesting? The numbers don't match up with the things that the Democrats keep telling us.
Mm-hmm.
What a surprise. They always try to make numbers look good. Oh, look, we make $74,000 a year. That's the average. No, it's not. One, we know the numbers are lying because you got all the illegal aliens down there in California driving up the prices and making sure that other people don't have a damn job. And so, yeah, everything costs a lot more. Or, of course, you're going to make more, but that's because everything costs so much more. Yeah, you're getting screwed out there in your blue states because of your blue policies. That's what people, the conservatives, the libertarian minded ones that say maybe we don't need all of this government because we, the people, can manage to make sure our roads are actually paved. And don't try to tell me that the roads wherever you're at are well paved. And I can assure you that it's not the people working the road crews because I've been on there. And you know what each and every one of them do every single day? Bitch about the fact that they don't have the resources necessary to fix the roads properly. Well, so if the people that want to fix the roads properly, who do it for a living, but don't have the resources to fix the roads properly, then where is that money going? Maybe that's a real question that we should be asking.
Mm-hmm.
Food for thought.
Food for thought.
Hey, Chops, thanks for joining.
You ready?
Yep.
I got Craig one more time because this was really good.
All right. I could listen to Craig.
Even when I don't feel hopeful, I still choose to put my hope in the one who will never fail. Even when I don't feel it, by faith I declare it. God, I hope in you. 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 When I continue to pray for my daughters and I haven't seen improvement, sometimes we pray so hard and one of them seems to get even worse. I will not lose my faith. By faith, I put my hope in him. What happens is my hope is maturing because in the old days, my hope was in a what, meaning I needed the desired outcome for my longing to be fulfilled. But as my faith grows, my hope is not just in what I want, but in the character and the nature and the goodness of God. Because hope has a name. His name is Jesus. His name is Jesus. He is the Savior. Hope has perfect timing. If it doesn't come in my timing, that doesn't mean it's not coming. And if it never ever comes according to the way I want it, I know that hope is coming again And one day, everything that breaks our hearts, everything that causes us pain will be washed away in the presence of a good God.
Thoughts?
I'm ready for that day. Whew. Boy, we go through the ringer sometimes. It can be difficult, but we do, without a doubt, have to keep our faith. It is the faith of a mustard seed, and we've pointed it out here many, many times. You don't have to have a whole lot of faith. You just have to have a little bit of faith over a long period of time. We have to be able to endure the trials and the challenges, and that is what makes our faith grow. And no, we may not get the things that we want. No, we may not get the healing we want, but everything is done for his perfect divine purpose, and we don't know what that is. And that doesn't make it any easier, but we must keep our faith that everything does happen so that way a better world can be created on the back end of this. I know it looks bleak at times, and I know that it looked really bad during the Rona period. And a lot of people, sadly, aren't here anymore because of the things that happened. But I don't believe that their sacrifices were absolutely pointless. I don't think their sacrifices were worthless. I don't think that just because they didn't know that they were at the sacrificial altar doesn't mean that it's not going to create the positive change that we need. If nothing else, it got us to where we're at now, in combination with all the other miserable sacrifices that have been made by so many people, be it your job, be it, your health, any number of things. See, these sacrifices will lead to something, and it's looking like it's going to be something much bigger and much more than just about any one individual, but it's going to be about all of us. And if we can all just have a chance to live and not have all of it go to very few people, that we all benefit from whatever it is that we provide to the world around us, well, then that will fix a lot of problems. It'll take away a lot of people's stress because they won't worry whether or not they're going to be able to eat or whether their kids are going to be able to eat. We're headed in that direction. So we have to stay the course and maintain that faith of a mustard seed over this entire period. It's not easy, but we got to do it. So in other words, grab a box of straws and suck it up.
Yep. You ready?
Yep.
I got Italian Princess, so you got to read.
Got to
Ready?
read. All right.
Go ahead.
Fannie Willis's karma just came for you. Oh, Fannie Willis, karma just came for you.
Ready?
Yeah, I need to learn how to read it as it's written. Trump got her. Judge orders Fannie Willis to hand over Trump case records. Willis is ordered to release all her communications with federal investigators and congressional panel related to her prosecution of Trump. She's finished. Yeah. Big Fannie Willis, she's done. Yeah, there's going to be a spanked ass after it's all said and done, because she tried to play the Game of Thrones, and in the Game of Thrones, you either win or you die, and this is the death of her career at the very least. It's not good trying to play the game that she was playing, especially when it wasn't anything that the Constitution was designed for, to go after your political prisoners. How cute. And you thought that was going to work. That's precious. Well, good thing is that America really isn't ready for that level of corruption to proceed. So I guess we'll just have to make America great again, and that's going to make sure that these pretend lawyers, people that are supposed to be there for the law, that since they're not going to be destroying what is the law, maybe we can get some people who care about the law in this legal system.
There you go.
What a good time.
You ready?
I'm ready to have all this winning happen.
I know.
I'm ready for the winning.
It's already happening.
All right.
Ready?
Mm-hmm.
Let's listen.
Breaking news. So apparently Kamala's losing streak keeps going. Yeah, now she's losing her relationship due to infidelity. Well, at least that's what the news say. Now, for the details as to who was cheating, I don't know. But yeah, I think it's leaning more toward her as the cheater because the news is saying that it's with a campaign member. You feel me? But I wouldn't put it past Dougie because, you know, he hit up the babysitter before. So a campaign member of the Harris Walls campaign could be free game if you ask me. But yeah, they're talking about divorce and separating right now. And the news got a whiff of it. Well, not mainstream media, but more like independent journalists, because, you know, we the media, baby. But yeah, the Cami Kamala and Doug Emhoff are having separation conversations. Yeah, so the boat have sunk and Dougie decides he's jumping off because he ain't going down with her. Yeah, he's already a successful businessman, so he don't want no baggage. You feel me? That's crazy though. Crazy work.
Thoughts?
Well, ain't that interesting? I don't think it's much of a surprise, though. The story about some infidelity with Kamala. I mean, kind of. I mean, it's kind of how she made her way into politics. Were we expecting this to change? I don't know. But let's not worry about that. Is it any surprise that now that the coffers are dried up and she owes all this money that, maybe your spouse wasn't there for the right reasons is a possibility. See, sadly, that's one of the problems when you get your gains in less than honest ways is you will be graced with less than honest people around you who will be willing to help you part ways with your ill-gotten gains. That's why people have been pressing to do it the right way this whole time. So that way nobody has to worry about whether or not it was stolen money from, the people.
Exactly.
Just an idea.
I know.
Yeah.
Are you ready?
It sure seems to be a lot of divorces around all these corrupt people, huh? I remember
know.
all the billionaires, like even Bezos,
Yeah.
all these divorces.
All the divorces.
Hmm.
Yeah. You ready?
Yes, ma'am.
Let's listen.
You need to watch this. This is Mark Andreessen. Basically, he's a billionaire tech investor. Okay. Now listen to what he's about to say. So supposedly this conversation is about the Biden administration when it comes to AI.
Yeah, the AI thing was very alarming. We had meetings this spring that were the most alarming meetings I've ever been in, where they were taking us through their plans, and it was
Like what kind of? Can you talk about it?
basically just full government control, like this sort of thing. There will be a small number of large companies that will be completely regulated and controlled by the government. They told us they just said don't even start startups, like don't even bother. Like there's just no way. There's no way that they can succeed. There's no way that we're going to permit that to happen.
Wow.
Yeah, they said this is already over. It's going to be 2 or 3 companies, and we're gonna control them, and that's that. Like this is already finished.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
No, then when you leave a meeting like that, what do?
You go endorse Donald Trump.
Yeah, I mean, that's wild. And since he did this podcast with Joe Rogan, there have been multiple people come out all over X talking about being debanked and attacked by the federal government. So this man's worth $1.9 billion, and his venture capitalist firm has invested in companies like Instagram, Oculus, GitHub, Skype, Facebook, Pinterest, Affirm, Roblox, Coinbase, can't even talk, Coinbase, and Substack. He's very in the know when it comes to technology, AI, and investing in these areas. That's why he was privy to the conversation that he's talking about. But again, these people trying to centralize the control like this is scary. So exposing the truth helps fight that level of control and censorship. We need to keep doing what we're doing.
So let me
Surprise,
see if it
surprise,
says in here.
exposure is occurring and it's making huge differences. Not a surprise at all. What was his name again?
I'm trying to.
All
find
right.
it.
Whew.
I know he said it in the beginning.
Was it? It was kind of small. Anyways, I don't know if it's that big of a deal. If it's David Sachs, I just got a breaking
Mark
David
Andreessen.
Sachs's
Basically,
White
he's a billionaire
House
tech-
Hold on.
as AI and crypto
You need
czar.
to watch this. This is Mark Andreessen. Basically,
Mark Anderson. Okay.
There you go.
All right. I didn't get a chance to look him up. But the exposure that we're going to be seeing, we know that there's going to be a lot of exposure, and it's going to be incumbent upon each and every one of us to make sure that we take the information, we continue to put it out there. As time goes on, it makes a difference in people's minds, especially as they start to recognize all of the lies that they've been through. People are still waking up every single day. And the more we can get, the easier it is for all of us. We just have to make sure that the information, we still have that energy that we had 4 years ago when Trump lost, trying to get the information out there. Lost, but whatever. Anyways, we still have to be just as aggressive in making sure that the truth is getting out there, especially as more and more people are waking up and that information gets passed on. It may happen like a game of telephone, and information will get crossed as it goes through various people, but eventually people will start to do the research on their own. And that's really the goal, is to get people to think for themselves. I know conservatives are so evil.
I know.
Yeah. Steph says, what's hidden in the dark comes out in the light, and the light is shining brightly. Yes, ma'am, it is, Steph. That light, somebody turned the light switch on. Yeah, it's starting to look really interesting.
It is. You ready?
Mm-hmm.
Let's listen.
There's a lot of people that you could listen to. There's 8 billion people you could listen to. So you need a reason not to listen to most people, because there's just too many people. And so if you hear something bad about someone that you don't know, it's easier just to assume, well, you can just write them off. And it doesn't matter, because there's 8 billion other people to choose from, right? So my point is, it's very easy to smear someone's reputation.
Thoughts?
So, smearing reputations. That's something that happens a lot in this world as people try to wake up. Who was it that just got their reputation smeared? Oh, yeah, that's right. Everybody that President Trump has been appointing. It's part of how the game is played, and people do that because they don't have a better argument. They don't have anything rational to provide. All they have is an attack because they have nothing of value. So when people make character assassination attempts, recognize that the person that is making these accusations has a motive. They have a reason to do that. And it may not always be because that is a true and accurate character trait about an individual. Always take what people say with a grain of salt. But you know what? This is yet more of that education we're all getting about how we should actually argue. We have completely forgotten. Long before Jerry Springer was ever even a TV show, I would say that your average American was able to have a rational discussion about things that they disagree upon and not want to go at each other's throats because they don't, because the other person doesn't think like you do. I look forward to coming out of that. But the first thing we have to do to try to stop that kind of lack of communication and lack of reason is to just not play into the character assassination attempts, because in the end, those character assassination attempts, ad hominem attacks to the person, have absolutely nothing to do with what the person is actually talking about 99.9% of the time. Hey, Randoon, thanks for joining.
You ready?
Yep.
Let's listen.
Your foundation does not have to limit your transformation. Even if your foundation was broken, poverty mentality, greedy, a liar, manipulator, judgmental, whatever your foundation. And that's why a lot of people, they don't even like to hear that, because you're not even self-aware enough to be able to identify here. I told everybody last week, and a lot of y'all didn't do it. I said, you need to write down where here is for you. I'm going to give you the assignment again this week. Write down, I'm here, and then write, if it's a sentence, a paragraph, or an essay. Write where you're at. I'm broken. I'm frustrated. I'm tired of being alone. I'm happy every Thursday, and it's only because I see the one at the ice cream shop. But other than that, I feel like suicide. Right? Because God doesn't bless where you pretend to be. He blesses where you really are, and most people won't declare where their foundation is. Because if you locate yourself or drop a pin, God's saying your foundation does not have to limit your transformation.
Thoughts?
Worrying about what our foundation is, the what we started out with, is probably one of the biggest problems that we can, one of the biggest conspiracies we can commit against ourselves. Because as we think about what has happened to us in our lives, or what we've done to others in our lives, whatever the case may be, whatever is happening then is not serving you now. As long as you're not continuing to make those same mistakes, and as long as you're crawling your way out of of that mess that was, does not mean that you are incapable of achieving and maintaining a much greater height than where you're at now. See, when we focus and keep on bringing up the the things that we've done wrong all the time, it keeps it in the present. It brings it from the past into the present, which can counteract to where we're actually at. And if it was a more positive time then and it's a less positive time now, we have to be honest with ourselves about how we feel about these things. King David was very honest with God about where he was at any point in time through his various psalms, right? So we have to be honest with our current situation. We can't worry about the foundation. We have to know where we want to be, but we have to be absolutely in the present with what's going on. So please make sure that you are being honest about where you are at that moment, especially when you're talking to God, because again, he's going to respond to that authenticity. He cares about us being his authentic creation that he made us to be. So make sure that you're being authentic with him at the very least.
Amen. Amen. You ready?
Yes, ma'am.
Let's listen.
Date your wife before someone else does. You dated her to marry her. Keep dating her to stay married to her. If you got dressed up and spent money and made plans and flirted with her to get married, keep doing those things to stay married. This is the big myth for men. They think that marriage is a finish line. It's not. It's a starting line. A lot of guys, law of pursuit, like, I'm so excited. Now we're married. I'm done. No. That's the starting line. And then as a man, your energy, your desire, your passion has to be intensely devoted toward your wife.
That goes for women too, though.
Great advice either way.
But they should still date their husbands.
I mean, it's things that should happen. We forget. And it causes problems because it causes separation because you two forget who you are. And then you end up hearing eventually down the road, we just grew apart. We didn't grow apart. You stopped caring about each other and not continuing to date each other. Go take your loved one on a date.
Yes, you should always.
That's all I have to say about that.
Yes.
Amen. Advise, I receive, and appreciate.
You ready?
Yes.
Let's listen.
God will hide you in plain sight at times. Overlooked, underappreciated, invisible. But that's because he doesn't want everyone participating in your process, nor your promise. Keep going. By the time they see you, they'll have to look up at you. And by then, it'll be too late.
All right, Santino.
All righty. I know that we're a little early tonight, but what I'm going to say about this is God can easily hide each and every one of us in plain sight. And sometimes being hidden and being what we feel is not being seen is for our benefit because he's doing something. And that's when we're feeling alone. But that's also when we have that God-sized hole in our heart that we need filling, that we don't need, all of these other things that we seek approval, guidance, love, everything else for. That's when we need to recognize that we're being set apart from everybody else because there's special work being done. It may not be easy. I can tell you there's been many times that we have felt alone, and it happens for our own growth because I can recognize that those periods of time when I was alone, that's where I learned more about myself. And that's where I gained some of my greatest strength, was recognizing that I didn't have any other human being and that I needed to get that connection that says that I have that reserve of strength. And we believe that that is our creator. And so when we go through those kinds of trials, it is because it's something that only you can do. It's only you can go through that, because there are things that you have to learn, and nobody else can help you. Nobody else can give you that helping hand, and that you have to get that help from God. And that is miserable. Trust me, I get it more than y'all think sometimes. Just because we're married doesn't mean that there aren't challenges that we have to work through on our own as individuals. And I know it's not the same, but as you get that strength, you will find out that other people, like everything else, when we find growth, that other people will be drawn to you because that's what they need. So make sure that you're getting through these challenging times and recognize that you're not alone, because you're really not. I mean, we'll chat with people and we care about each and every one of you, but we can't be there for everybody. Hell, we can barely be here for each other half of the time because we got so much stuff going on that has absolutely nothing to do with this. And so it's just kind of part of the process, but know that that process is for your good and not for your destruction.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
Brandon says, I was married for 46 years last month, so I must be doing something right. You still take her out on a date? Steph says, yes, you are at Randoon. I should say, you must be doing something right. There's no doubt about that. Bill says, I wasn't always the sharpest knife in the drawer that you see today, and my dullness only was surpassed by my dim-witted sight. LOL. But truer than you know. We all go through it, Bill.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah. Congratulations. That is awesome. 46 years is amazing.
Yes.
It works. There you go.
Yeah.
Shut. Steph says, please set that thumbs up. Yes, and please hit that thumbs up. It's truly appreciated.
Yes, very much so.
Did you have any thoughts, ma'am?
You know what? I honestly believe that as we go through all of this process, it is about just growth. And, and I say this all the time. If I were to go back and talk to 5 years ago me, I don't even know if I would know who that person is, because the growth has changed so much and I've changed so much. I don't know if I would know that person. And there were lots of times that God did put me alone in those situations, but I'm grateful for every moment, because if I hadn't gone through the stuff I've gone through, I wouldn't be the person I am today. So I'm grateful. Grateful. Very grateful.
Very grateful. Anyways. All right, everybody. Well, thank you very much for joining us tonight. We do truly appreciate it. We'll be back tomorrow at same dat time, 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific, on that channel at Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, X, Rumble, and pill.net.
And if you haven't already, please take a minute and give us that virtual hug. If you're over on YouTube or Rumble, hit that thumbs up. If you're over on pill.net, take that red pill. If you're over on X, smash that heart. And if you're on Facebook, we have like 7 buttons. And I know each and every one of you like to press buttons because you watch us.
Yeah, y'all like pushing buttons. You want to. Go ahead, push the buttons. All right, everybody. Thanks for joining us tonight. We love you all. Have a great night. Be safe, and God bless each and every one of you.